our thousands of viewers.
All right, well, let's start getting some Debian stuff going, and we'll see how it goes. I guess we can let's do a net install. We'll set up this first node manually.
Okay.
And then we'll use that as a TFTP DHCP server for the others.
All right.
And that way any other machine you add can just get that. And then we'll figure out what we're doing with Cassandra and the config after that.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So, that said, I think the first thing is going to be to get the Debian installer onto a USB stick, which, you know, it's always just starting with the basics. So let's see. I just plugged in a stick. It's got some random stuff on it. I don't really care. Let's go download a Debian image. So, by the way, this is LFTP. It's an FTP client. It's like any other FTP client, except it does like nice things like tab completing. It actually does support HTTP downloads, but Debian still does FTP and all this stuff, so it just makes things a little bit easier. So I'm just gonna grab.
And you just put that on the box, or are you using it?
What?
It came on this load.
No, I installed
Okay.
it. I installed it. LFTP does not come with most things. But like I said, any web browser, HTTP, FTP client, whatever, just any way to go download an image from the Debian FTP server.
Gotcha.
So I'm grabbing this boot image GZ. This is the one that I believe is designed to go on like a USB stick. We'll find out if it's not.
Exactly.
Just compress that. Oh yeah, we should probably also have done a checksum of that first, but oh well. Alright, so and that was. This goes to a bunch of okay.
There you go. Okay.
So this is probably a legacy booted installer, which I don't think is going to cause us too many problems, but we'll see.
Crossing fingers. It should be good.
Should be okay. No. Oh, this is not the installer I want. Alright, let's start over. So what I'm looking for is the netinst image. Basically it allows us to do the whole install by downloading packages as needed, rather than having to have them on a DVD image or something. I don't know, I just prefer to do things that way. It seems just a little bit cleaner. You're guaranteed to get more up-to-date packages that way. But yeah, so I guess the boot image that I downloaded is not the right boot image. Okay, there's the netinst image. So yeah, so we're going to set this up as a DHCP server. DHCP is going to serve TFTP options to clients. Those TFTP options are then used to connect connect. TFTP is actually connectionless, but we'll ignore that for the moment. So it's going to go grab the kernel and RAM disk from TFTP, which will contain the Debian installer. We will also have it serve up a pre-seed file, which will basically fill in all of the things you would normally fill in the Debian installer. It'll just do those based on the config file rather than waiting for a human and a keyboard. Hopefully, that's if everything goes to plan. Every time I've set that up in the past, it's always been a few iterations to actually make sure you get all of the options right. So yeah, so we'll get the TFTP server set up, we'll get the Debian installer going, and that'll get us up to a base Debian installation. From there, we've got a couple options for configuration. So we could do something like Ansible that just SSHs in and runs a bunch of stuff to make sure you get all the right packages and config files. We could do something like Puppet, where you run an agent on the machine that, makes sure everything on the machine looks right, and it's got to go and download the manifest from somewhere.
Right.
So, that would probably be our Bastion host we would set up as a Puppet master. I've never used Salt, but I've heard it works similar to Puppet. Same with Chef. I've used Chef a little bit, but I'm not a huge fan of Ruby, so I would rather not. I mean, Puppet's also Ruby, but you don't really have to write much of it. Puppet has its own weird DSL, which is a horrible idea on its own, but it works.
Yeah.
Just make sure we got the right device, SDE. I could not finish that quickly. Maybe. Something like that. No, it's definitely SDE, right? No? Maybe. Oh, yeah, okay. I was doing it in the background and now it's got to actually flush. That's why it's important to always do the sync. It's because if I don't plug that USB stick before, because the copy command had exited, then it would have been incomplete. Okay. Try this again. That's a little better. Okay, we are going to do the non-graphical install because I like it that way. This right now is just loading a bunch of basic packages from the USB stick into a RAM disk. And now we're going to set up the network, hopefully. Do you know which of these interfaces is the internet?
I don't know which one it is, but I know it's one of the bottom two. The one there is the one on board. These identical ones are in the card.
Which one's on top?
I don't really know. I mean, it's a card, and there's two.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, is it in the bottom one, or like closer to the board, or further away from the board?
It's right here in the back. Like,
No,
straight back.
but closer to the motherboard? Like,
Yes.
which port is the internet one?
The one on the bottom one.
Thank
The
you.
one closest to the ground.
Alright, it's probably 0 then.
Yeah.
Finished by now, so we're not getting DHCP on that one. We do get DHCP here, right?
From the telco box right across the hallway.
Okay, good. So we're
We'll get some random arbitrary IP of some sort.
back here, we're back. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So it is the F1. We need a name.
We'll call it Taco Truck or something.
No. How about just
Okay.
Bastion? Head?
Yeah, sure. Call it Valhalla. It makes sense, considering the building.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Machines of Sheep, so Bastion it is.
Okay, here we go.
You got a domain name you like? It
Nope.
literally doesn't matter.
So do adrian.me.
Can we add DNS records to that if we need to?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
That's one of the reasons I picked it.
Root password. I'm going to use this one here.
Cool.
We need a user. I'm just going to use myself. It's a little unprofessional. It's like, nah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, time
If you feel
zone.
like using that.
I don't want any of these. I want
Pacific.
I want UTC.
Oh.
There's the
Maybe
decided
just pick
time.
Pacific and then change it later.
Yeah, okay. force UEFI, yes. Okay. Do we want to use LVM? I don't, well, we do have a lot of disks in this machine, but also I want to keep things simple.
Yeah.
So we'll just use straight up GPT here. Okay, I assume this 128 one is the SSD? Plex store?
Yeah. Wait. So yeah, there's the flash shit, and then there's the one that came in the machine, and then the 4 gig ones are just junk I added.
So the 128 is flash.
It's the SSD or something like that. Yeah.
I'm not going to separate out the home. I don't think we need to make things too complicated here. We can always change that later. I'm going to get rid of the swap because I think swap is a bad idea. Basically, if you... What is this? What to expand that into the free space do I have to do? So. Name my partitions as well. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay. Oh shit. Right, so you've got the EFI system partition, which is used for the bootloader and whatnot, and then you've got a FS and nothing else. So yeah, I don't like swap on servers because I would rather the killer come and kill my process rather than letting it swap and be slow and hard to SSH into. I'd rather random processes just get killed and restarted by systemd. So yeah. Right, so now it's telling me you didn't set up swap, and I'm telling it I know better. Yeah, I mean, swap is fine for most things, but like, if your server's running out of memory, you've done something wrong already, and I would rather like the process just get killed and like throw a Nagios alert or something, rather than just responding slowly. Like, I don't think that's...
Turning into sludge.
Yeah, like, I don't think latency is anything you ever want in a production system, and so I'd rather have just straight up failures. So, I don't know, I've argued this point with a lot of people.
I don't know, I'm kind of a fan of the
I feel-
failure too. Like,
Yeah.
let it fail, get it figured out ASAP
Yeah,
versus it becoming this big question mark that you spend days or
I'm a big
hours
fan of
messing with.
systems that fail fast. Like, if it's gonna fail, let it fail, close the socket, stop, accepting connections, and then whatever is upstream should retry or fail over somewhere else.
Yeah.
So for instance, if there was a web server and you had a load balancer pointed at it, okay. There's a lot of different ways to automate this installation. There is, what I talked about earlier, the pre-seed. There's also Kickstart, which is sort of like a more generic version of pre-seed. But then you gotta maintain images and stuff, and it's kind of a pain. And we could do something more traditional, like, Ghost, or whatever it's called these days. Cool, it didn't find the boot device. So let's go back into this BIOS and figure out what it wants. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we could do the install, but I think just for the sake of keeping everything sort of we're not. Oh, that might be it. Well, not never, but rarely. So we've given up on UEFI.
Oh yeah? What
Yeah.
is the...
It just doesn't work for some reason, and I just rather move on and switch it over to NPR boot. And this keyboard stopped working.
Oh, there it goes. That was really weird.
It's a wireless keyboard, so
Flakiness ensues.
I heard a truck start up outside, so maybe the alternator is doing something or something.
Oh, yeah.
SDA1 sounds like a place where you have a root, right? Give me a shell, thank you. No useful, okay. Maybe SDA2 then, because SDA1 is the EFI partition. Show mount EFI partition. Is this just going to do crud EFI? Or... Yeah. Oh, okay. That's easy. Let's just double check that it did everything. Seriously? I guess we would need the recovery shell for that, right? This one. FAT32, root partition, and rootfs, GPT. It's gonna be, that doesn't work. Does it? No, because you can't have an MBR bootloader with a GPT disk label. That's not a thing. Screw it, we'll just do the install again. See, I'm used to doing that to debug new EFI stuff, not MBR. It's been a long time since I built something with MBR.
Yeah. You know, it's similar to the programming process too. You spend hours setting up one little thing just so you can say hello world, and then once you say hello world, then you actually start making progress.
If you say so. That's usually where I stop and go get coffee.
I just get all hopped up early on in the process.
Still an EFI partition there. That's not what we want.
What is it?
It's still an EFI partition. Maybe it just does that regardless these days. So this is still going to be a GPT disk label, isn't it? That's not what I want you to do. What does that give me? Does Debian not support MBR partitioning anymore? I can't be right. Can
Well, how the hell can you do anything if you don't have an MBR?
Because GPT, but you usually would use EFI with that. Just for just to make things a little bit more efficient. So discard basically tells your SSD to do the right thing when you delete things.
Mm-hmm.
It'll try to use blocks that have never been used before rather than overwriting existing blocks, just to try to do some wear leveling. And no wait time, basically nobody ever looks at that. It's the access time of a file. I've never actually seen anything that uses it. So you can save quite a few IOPS by just not having that. Interesting.
So rootfs extent 4.
Hang on a second. Can we just do this my way? Will it just give me a shell if I ask for it? Yes, thank you. Seriously? The old school way. That's better, okay. So now, partition, primary, oh yes, primary and secondary. Eight gigs is probably overkill for this, but it's fine. I always forget what the ID for FAT32 is. B or C? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay. It's partitioned.
Oh, so now we can put something on it.
Okay, so
It's the simple things in life.
Oops. Okay, that is what I want. Go away.
Yeah, they like to beep whenever it's most inconvenient.
No, I was talking about it
Oh.
wants boot to be exe2 for some, I mean, you can do 4, but it's not going to use the drone. I guess it's fine, it's just like, I'm so used to doing things the EFI way. Okay. That's right. Great. So now we have an MS-DOS disk label with an ext2 boot partition and an ext4 root partition. It's going to install all the normal usual things in there.
Something serene about blue and red and gray and black.
Yeah, curses is
Only
all the
four.
thing.
4 colors.
You got drop shadows, like, you know, that's some fancy GUI shit.
Seriously.
It's like, you know, it took Apple, what, 20 years to get drop shadows?
Yeah, it's a good thing we got this on a 4K monitor.
It's probably also just running like VESA frame buffer, like there's nothing special going on here.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to use the Oregon State University lab mirror because it's like 100
Right down the
miles from here.
street.
Yeah, it's like
Hell yeah.
it's usually pretty fast from Seattle. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
big-
do have-
and they have lots of bandwidth to spare. We're not chewing up anything they can't afford.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fiber directly between cities there.
It's right up by 5.
Yeah. And then they got all the dark fiber that's now in the light rail, the new light rail paths there too.
Dark light fiber.
So yeah, they turned on the light fiber.
So with any luck, this will now understands that we have an MBR system and not try to install a UEFI on top of it. You do PopCon? I never do PopCon. We do not need a print server. We do not need a desktop environment. We're just going to do SSH and standard system utilities. You can go without standard system utilities, but I like having things like Vim.
Didn't you want no? Sorry, just messing with you.
No, I don't want no. I mean, desktop system maybe, but like I've got a whole list of things that I have to change if I'm going to use GNOME on something. Yep, that's what a Debian installer looks like.
It's honest.
You get both Python 2.7 and 3.5 by default now. It's exciting.
Wait, you get both?
Yep.
When did that happen?
Transition
For a decade.
It's almost happening. I think Buster, the next release, is going to get rid of 2 out of the default install. I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
Oh man.
Yes, install grub to the MBR. That's what we want. Yes. SDA. Yes. We'll probably just install to all of them just to be safe, but great. Do your thing. Okay. Hold up the USB stick. Didn't somebody do Twitch installs Debian at some point? I think somebody.
Did they?
Yeah, they hooked it up like the Twitch plays Pokemon, and they ran through like all the Linux installers.
Oh god, didn't that take like days?
Yeah,
With all the options?
Hey, look, we got grub. That's a good sign.
Oh magic.
Linux 4.9, a little bit crusty and old, but it will do.
Come on, camera. Do a thing. There we go. It decided to unfocus.
Hey, all right. So we have a box. What were we doing again?
Setting up a Bastion server for DHCP and all that jazz for the rest of the network.
What else do I like to have? We're inevitably going to need TCP opener now, just because debugging. Just, you know, a bunch of random, sudo would be a good thing to have as well. Actually, I'm going to hold off on build essential and all that and just keep the basics.
Definitely, well, you gotta get started somewhere.
I grabbed the stretch installer, so we need to do a dist upgrade as well. I did not realize I had done that. Because Jesse is latest, isn't it?
Oh shit, is it? I don't remember which one is the latest.
Oh, God.
Latest Debian. What?
What?
Codename Stretch? Debian 9.5.
Stretch is stable? Okay, stretch is stable. My mistake. So we're good. Okay.
Yeah, Stretch is the stable one.
Make sure we got everything.
Oh, and
Grab
yeah.
the newer kernel too, because why not?
Old stable was Jesse.
Yeah, we'll install as much stuff as we can now, you know, just because there's really nothing to break yet, so no harm in doing a kernel upgrade right now.
Knock on wood.
Well, I mean, like it's a clean system. There's nothing to break. Give that a quick boot. So you guys want a different font?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, I think I remember how to change that. Okay, we're getting there. Let's go with the biggest one we can get. What's Volt VGA do for us? Nope. readable for everyone? Yes? No? Maybe? Before we try ignore?
I think that's I think it's a little bit better.
Alright. Cool. We got sudo working.
Yes, they report that grandma font is now working better. It's kind of nice.
I don't know if this is gonna work. Ah, yes.
Oh, you look at there.
So I just want my dot files because I'm picky about a few minor things.
That was our fellow brunch cohort that declared grandma font.
Ah. So the dot files, by the way, there's nothing really terribly complicated in here. Just mostly just like extra path stuff for like if I have, you know, Android SDK and that sort of thing installed. You know, make sure Vim is my editor. Yeah, nothing too crazy. You know, there's a few other things, but it's pretty tame. Right, so we need a DHCP server first of all. We'll use ISC just because it's, you know, standard-ish, everybody knows it, the syntax is familiar, we know it'll work. Great. Okay, what was that interface again? You're going to complain about the colors now, aren't you, people?
No, I think they're cool with that, but they were saying you type really fast. They were very impressed. Very
Sorry.
impressed with your fast typing.
Uh,
Don't be sorry. You're a badass fast typer.
So yeah, these are the what's it called? The persistent network interface names. This is something that systemd defaulted to in a recent-ish build, and I don't know. It basically means that like no matter what order the devices get enumerated in, they'll always have the same name, regardless, even if they're like MAC address changes, which like never happens, but you never know. Alright, we'll stick with our theme of Adrian.me. For now, we'll use Google DNS. Was there a comment there? There's a comment there. I don't want to hear your opinions about why Google DNS is bad. Nobody cares.
No, it's fine. You ain't gonna get any complaining from me.
Okay, so let's set up a subnet. What subnet do you like for your cluster?
Yeah, do that.
172.16?
Do that, because it's stuck in my head. That's like the first default I always think of.
Okay, we'll make it a /24. So I like to do like, I like to give myself some breathing room here for you know, the last 32. I think that's the last 16. Math is hard. Whatever, doesn't matter. I like to just leave a few addresses unused on either end of the subnet in case I want to have like a gateway IP or need to add some other static something. I know that like I've got 32 to play with without moving anything around. And I'm going to make 254 the top of the subnet. That will be the IP of this machine on that internal interface. So that will be good for now. I don't think there's anything else uncommented in there. Okay. Sure, yep, that came up. All happy now. Alright, does Debian still use that neighborhood network interfaces? It does. Cool. Is it iNet? I forget. iNet static. No good. This is the gateway. Allow hot plug just means that it won't wait for this device at boot. Sort of counterintuitive that way.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract.
Okay. Zero. Oh, did I just do that wrong? Okay, F0 is our inside counterintuitively. Great. So, oh, we can't use 192.168.1 because that's what your
Oh shit,
modem
yeah.
router thingy is doing. Yeah, that's not good.
Just made you do all that math,
you
now
wanna
you gotta
do
change it.
2, or do you want to switch to 10 dot just to make it very
Let's do
clear?
10 dot, because then I just won't get... I'll get confused later because I'll forget part of this.
We'll do 10.1.1, 254. Probably also like spitting out DHCP on that external interface now, which is bad. So let's not do that. Sorry, I was under the impression we were getting an external IP. So we're just going to be doing like double MAC stuff now. Okay, that's better. So, yep. Okay. Didn't start. Wait, why not? I'm not configuring any interfaces. No somewhat decoration. Yes, I do want to do that. Why are
They
you
said you're not talking loud, but they can hear me really good. I don't know
Which
why.
microphone is it using?
It's this microphone.
Well, yeah, because I'm behind it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I am also mumbling a bit. I'll speak up.
Yeah. I think it was a combination factor there.
Um, no, I'm just not talking at all. How's that? Okay. I think we're good now. Yep. So that'll give IPs to anything coming in. So now we need to NAT traffic from that inside interface to the outside, which means configuring IP tables.
Yeah, IP tables.
Already installed it. And that came with it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So tmat IP tables A input. Oh no, that's not. Oh gosh.
Tables. Just let me know if you want me to actually look up anything.
I'm gonna try to do it from memory because
Why
it makes
not?
me look like a badass. Oh. Yeah, well, I'm here. We're going to drop anything other than ICMP and SSH inbound, just because we really don't want to mess with anything else. Oh, I guess I should have bound that to that interface, though. MP4, I forget what it is. external interface. We do want ICMP on every interface. There's no reason not to allow that. And then we also want to allow anything on our inside interface.
So we got, you're good. Oh, you're just doing 22 for now. And what else was the one you just did?
The TCP/22, ICMP, and then allow any on the inside interface.
Oh yeah, cool.
Interface. Okay, and then we're going to do take save. Fine, be that way.
Man, that's a hella crazy looking chevron. For this font, the chevron. Giant. It's usually a little wedge thingy.
Okay, so there's our rules. The counters are irrelevant. Input drop filter. So this is the NAT chain, this is the filter chain. Input is a default drop. We're going to accept any on our external interface for 22 and accept ICMP. We're going to accept anything on our inside interface. Cool. So now we just got to load that on boot, which again we got to look at the man page. I don't actually know like what the recommended way for doing IP tables config at boot on Debian is these days. This is just the way I've done it for the last while. So yeah, we want to do a pre-up command, I believe. Yeah, so let's do I believe this is in SBIN. It might be in user SBIN. Oh, it is an SBIN. Cool. Alright, so let's pick this on that interface. Right, because we want the firewall to come up before we bring up the external interface. We don't really care about the firewall on the internal interface. Okay, so that should configure IP tables. I'm going to go ahead and reboot just to double check that that actually does the right thing.
One of those rare reboots.
I mean, it's not necessary, it just makes me feel good to know that the firewall and the network come up correctly on any boot.
Those are kind of important things to make sure
Yeah, the
that
last thing
they're
you
on.
want is to set that all up and then never test it. Okay, look at that. Did we even get our NAT rule in there?
Nice.
Hey, we did. Awesome. Yeah, I should probably switch this to be based on interface rather than IP. Yeah. So, coming in on MP4 S0 F0. And then going out on MP4 S0 F1. Right?
I think so.
Oh, and then we also have to enable forwarding. And we're not going to bother with V6 forwarding because nobody here has V6, I think.
Yeah, there's no IPv6 happening.
Interesting. So that must be a shortening for the same thing. I've always done it with the conf all forwarding, but whatever. I'm just going to flush the nat table and then maybe. Interesting. Maybe I did have it right. Both interfaces are up here. And I like these. I've never seen IP tables restore hang like that.
What did it do? Restored what?
I edited the IP tables rules manually, and when I hit restore,
No, I think everybody's totally grokking everything. They've memorized every single step you've made.
excellent.
And they'll be ready for the test later.
Good. This will be on the final exam.
And I believe that they're happy with your voice volume level now.
Cool. Because I completely forgot about that. Okay, F1 didn't come up. So I'm guessing it's still hanging, right? Alright, let's just... Okay, whatever. I'm pretty sure those are the right NAT rules. I guess I got my laptop over here, we can test that, right?
We could.
Maybe-
Or with any of the other Debian laptops in here.
So I'm going to tweak a few things in the SSH config. We do not want passwords. Well, I guess we're going to need it for the first login, but I'll turn that off shortly. And the other thing I always like to turn off is use DNS, because if you don't have DNS for reverse record setup, that just makes everything slow, and there's no need for it. I guess we could make it only listen on the inside interface, but no, you're going to want SSH nodes from the other side too.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can ping our gateway, which means that this device already got an IP. Yeah. And able to load, let me turn off my Wi-Fi. I'm probably trying to use, but Hangout is going over the Wi-Fi, so use that. But okay, we can ping our gateway. Room.domain. I have no idea what that is. No, I'm not so sure about that. Okay, well, let's SSH in first. The uninitiated, this is Chrome OS. Yes, it's terminal running in a web browser. Get used to it. And I'm gonna do. Well, we don't need anything other than that for right now. Do I want to set up a key? from ECDS headers, right? Must have typed it before. We're going to live dangerously without a passphrase here. And then the other thing I need to do is get that private key onto my laptop without showing it to everybody, which I can do. We're to the point where we can not show all my files.
All right.
So we're just going to put that somewhere where this client can see it. Right? Copy that. Okay, new shell. We're going to import that key. And there's all my files again. Awesome. We're good. Okay, so we imported that, except not maybe. Let's see what happens. Public key as well. Yeah, the Chrome SSH client is a little fussy. It likes things the way it likes them.
Yeah.
But once you get it working, it's nice. There it is. Okay. Cool, cool. Beautiful. So now we're going to speaker for you.
It shows the volume is way up, but it also
cool.
that thing doesn't work. Battery.
Oh. Okay, now that works. So I need to make sure we have connection state tracking enabled. I think it's just dash state. I'm gonna have to Google that. Where's my Chrome? I think it's M state something something something. State established related. Okay. Give me my shell back. Okay. That's better. So that basically means every time we open an outside connection, it's keeping track of that as a state entry in IP tables somewhere in the kernel. And then any return traffic for those connections is allowed implicitly, which means we can do things like connect out to the internet without opening holes in the firewall permanently. Okay, so this is like the old school inetd TFTPD. inetd, for the uninitiated, is basically the idea was you would have a single daemon that listens on sockets for connections and then spawns programs as needed to serve those connections rather than having daemons running all the time. This is less popular these days because forking is expensive and it's very easy to do a denial of service attack against a host running inetd, because you just open a bunch of connections and it forks a new process every time, and you very quickly run out of memory or file handles or something worse. But TFTP, it's a UDP service, and it's we're only going to use it on an internal interface, so we're not really all that worried about like denial of service here because it's really lightweight. And frankly, computers these days have so much memory and stuff, like the risk is pretty low here. And it's a lot simpler than TFTPD HPA, which is like a high performance fork, or what was the other one? ATFTPD, which is a complete rewrite that I forget, but it has all sorts of fancy features we're not going to use. So we're going to create the TFTP directory, and that was running as the nobody user, so we just need to make sure nobody can read this. Not nobody, but the user called nobody. I'm going to install LFTP again. What was it? osl.org, maybe? Yeah. So we're going to download the installer for AMD64. We want current images, netboot. So there's this directory, has all sorts of goodies. Basically everything you need to netboot a machine, I believe, is in this one tarball. Let me double check. Oh, and of course I don't have write access to this directory. Sorry, what? That's better. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So this is our TFTP root now. Has a Pixie Linux. So this is going to be a symlink. Both Debian and Ubuntu installers do this weird symlinky stuff, just so that if you happen to have different architectures and things, it'd be easy to move them around. But we don't, so we're not going to worry about it too much. So when Pixie Linux 0 boots up on a TFTP host, it's going to then try to get a whole bunch of different file names for its config. It's basically going to be based on the host's IP that it's gotten from DHCP, or its MAC address. And if all of those fail, then it will look for a file called default, which happens to be the only one we have. And then this is going to load up the boot menu and the VESA menu. We're probably not going to keep those, but just for the sake of testing this, we're gonna leave that there for now. So now we need to tell the DHCP server to send clients that TFTP server information. So we do that with the next server option. That basically says, I want you to go look for your next files from this server, and then look for a file name pxelinux.0, which is going to be that Pixie ROM image. And I don't believe we're going to need a leading slash. It should just look for the thing in the root, but we'll find out. What are you making all this noise for?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be distracting.
Okay. And just to double check, inetd is started, right? Yeah, okay. Let's just to make me feel good. Okay, so I think we are ready to attempt netbooting one of these other machines. I believe we'll see logs here when that happens. So I'm going to go turn one of these machines on and switch the BIOS over to PXE.
Let's see here. No, actually I don't think I do.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because I messed up. I got them out of sync with the network cables.
That's fine. Yeah.
I had been just doing this one because it's at the end here, actually. So.
Don't worry about it. So we're going to make sure the BIOS here is set to PXE. Oh, okay, well it already is. Great. So over there on the other screen, switch it back. You missed it.
Oh. Wait, what screen did you want?
Don't worry about it. Okay. So, yep, it looks like we got our...
You're at this one. They're watching this one.
Okay. So we got our installer from PXE, which is great. Although it didn't actually do anything beyond that. So let's go look at the logs and see what happened. Okay, so we got a DHCP request. We gave it an IP. Twice, actually, so I don't know what the other device is, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Oh, it might have been my laptop. Okay, so we got an ACK, which means it accepted the address. TFTP server got a connection. It went looking for Pixie Linux 0. It served it from serve TFTP. Good, good. Then it went and got LD Linux and a whole bunch of other stuff. Here it's looking for, this is the host's PXE UDID, which in theory the box will always come up, or at least this Pixie ROM will always come up with that ID, and you could use that as a unique identifier of the machine. I've never seen anybody do that, but you could. Then here is the machine's MAC address, so it looked for that. And then these are hex encoded IP address, and it goes sort of descending by byte. So, 0A is 10, 1, 1, 21, which 21 hex, I believe, is 33. So, yep, that's 10, 1, 1, 33. And then it just looks for 10, 1, 1, 30 something, and then 10, 1, 1. And, so you could have one config for a subnet or a machine or whatever you like. And then finally, it just falls back to default, which it should have successfully gotten, which it did, because then the config in there told it to go get these boot menu configurations and all that other stuff. And with any luck, we should have seen it grab a kernel. So it's a whole lot of configs. And I did not see it grab a kernel. So it got stuck somewhere. But again, like I said, we're not really going to use that config too much because it's not all that good for us. So actually, let me okay. Yeah, so all I really want to keep is, so prompt, I believe is just going to show the prompt for that, but then timeout. I don't remember what these options do. Okay, here we go, options. No, these are DHCP options. So yeah, there's some other things you could set in the DHCP options to make other things happen. We're not really going to be doing anything that complicated here. Oh yeah, we can also do kernels from HTTP now, which is a terrible idea, but it's supported. But no, so here's the bit about the config file name, setting up a TFTP server, DHCP, we did all this already. It's fine. That's weird. I'll just get to the part where you do the Pixie Linux config, please. Yep, here. So it's basically using the file extension to figure out what to load and how to load it. Generally not going to use these too much from Pixie Linux. The only thing we're really worried about is binaries and Linux kernels and whatnot. Okay, here we go. So we've got a kernel and we've got an append. And that's really all we're going to want here. So where... Yeah. Right, so our kernel here is Debian installer AMD64 Linux, right? Yep, that's a kernel. And then we've got an initRD.gz. And the rest of this is completely irrelevant. I'm just going to copy this because I'm never going to type it right. And of course, I'm in the wrong directory, or the wrong user. Okay, prompt 0, timeout 0. I don't remember if you need to give this a label or not, but we will just for the sake of things. So I'll tell it, go grab this kernel, append this initRD, default install. Again, if we had more than one option, that would matter more. Prompt 0 tells it to prompt the user for the selection. I don't think we need to do that because there is no user. Oh yeah, and then timeout. We'll give it a 3-second timeout in case we want to interrupt it, but generally this is going to be unattended. So now we know we can boot an installer. Now we want to send it a pre-seed configuration. So we can add a config to this initRD gz. We might do that. We can add it from a web server, which sounds nice, because then we could, maybe later even generate it dynamically based on what we want the box to do. The issue there is there's no SSL, so you're really trusting the network here, which I wouldn't do it in a production environment, but this is fine. Frankly, I wouldn't do much of this in any sort of production environment. I mean, the TFTP is easy to man in the middle. HTTP would be easy to man in the middle. DHCP you can man in the middle. You're really trusting the network the box is plugged into at this point, which is not a guarantee. Newer machines will have like vPro or the Intel AMT stuff that everybody gets up in arms about. Is actually really nice for doing this sort of configuration because you can preload SSL certificates into the BIOS and then have it use those to find its configuration server. So you can really get a decent root of trust going there. But we don't have any of that. We don't have like TPM keys or any of that. So we're just going to wing it here. Okay. So we'll just take a pre-seed file example here. Looks good, right? I have no idea what it does yet. It's fine. I'm just going to be root now. Okay. Some syntax highlighting would be nice, but I guess I never did install vim full. Maybe I did. I don't know. That's weird that I can't get a...
Much nicer.
Yeah, this is not a Python file, but that'll work. Sorry, time for more coffee. Okay. So UTF-8 is nice. So remember at the beginning when we went through the Debian installer and we had to select all this stuff manually? That's basically all we're doing here is just setting all that up so it never prompts for it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just pre-filling in all that configuration now. So hopefully when this does come up, we won't need to do anything. Yeah, I don't think we want to do no network. Okay, choose an interface that has link if possible. Yeah, there's only going to be one interface with link, so we're good there. 3-second link detection is fine. DHCP timeout, yeah, let's give that a good, well, if it's slow, something's wrong, so we'll want to know about that. Okay, hostname. Okay, so DHCP hostname is going to take precedence. That's important. We'll just leave these as unassigned. I guess we can put our domain name in here.
We could force a host name. Let's worry about host names a bit later. Yeah, we don't do Wi-Fi, so that's not going to matter. I think we're going to use pretty standard network on these. I think they're all just onboard Intel. Network console component for remote installation over SSH. Ooh, that's new. So you give it a URL with SSH keys, and then it just gives you a root shell. That's kind of cool. I don't think we're going to use it, but that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Okay, and we'll go... Well, let's let this just auto-select a mirror. We're not really going to... So this is going to be like a DNS name that, you know, redirects to a whole mess of machines. We're going to install stable. Yeah, we don't want to set up a root account. We do want to set up a user account. Okay. Username of Debian is good with you, Adrian?
The username of Debian?
Yeah, like for your unprivileged or privileged-ish user.
Oh, just Debian.
Debian?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
And we do have to give it a password, don't we? I guess the password is going to be insecure. That's fine with me, right?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, we could give it a crypt hash, which... Seriously?
Oh, can't type your password in?
No, I'm just like, where's the man page for crypt? Like, that's something I would expect to be on the system, but maybe it's in man pages dev, and it is. Okay, so... I don't remember... I mean, yeah, this will take a nice hash, I guess. Wait, des, we don't want des. Yeah, ID salt encrypted. So SHA-512 with assault or blowfish might be nice. There's a command line tool for these, right? Does anybody remember?
Cricket so far.
Whatever. We'll use a plain text password. It's not like it matters much here.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, as soon as the box comes up, we're going to have, like, Ansible or something come in and just switch it to SSH key auth anyway.
Right, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And again, this is a mostly trusted network. We're going to make sure the first UID is always 1000, right? Just make sure that's what we got over here. Yeah. Just to enforce a little bit of consistency. It would probably do that by default anyway, but we just want to be sure. What other groups did we get? CD-ROM, floppy, audio, video, plug dev, yeah. It's fine. Can I just copy these? I suppose we could also just add it to the pseudo group here. UTC true. Okay, and we do just want it to be the UTC time zone. That's also, while I'm thinking about it, None of the System 5. Okay, maybe not one of those. There we go, UTC. Does that look mostly right? I have no idea. 1449, 2149. Sure, close enough. Well, I'm thinking about it. Or actually, do we have... Yeah. System D timesync D. And we'll just go ahead and use the Debian pool. So yeah, System D does NTP for you now. Okay, it's already running. Cool. Excellent. So yeah, systemd will set the RTC and everything for you. The only concern is that the default configuration for a lot of distros is Google's NTP servers, which they've complained a little bit about. So we just go ahead and make sure we're using the Debian NTP pool there to be polite citizens. We could also set up our own NTP pool to make sure all of our servers share the same time, which will probably be a good point. Well, it would probably be a good thing to do at some point, but I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Yep, use NTP. And we'll just go ahead and point at this guy. Okay. Device remove LVN, remove MD. Yeah, confirm, great. All files, one partition, fine. Yeah, we could do custom disk format to get rid of the swap and everything, but I don't really care. Great. Yeah, read config. Honestly, the syntax for those disk configs is super specific, and it tends to fail in interesting ways. So if there's a config there that'll just wipe everything and do what I want, I'm not going to mess with it too much. We do want to mount everything by UUID. That just seems to work better in almost every situation. Okay, configure apt. No, we can have the recommended packages, it's fine. We can have the recommended kernel. We don't need non-free and contrib, at least not yet. Honestly, I think most of this is going to be just fine. Yeah, so here we could set up our own custom apt repository, which we probably will soon, but we're not quite ready for that yet. Don't need sources. Don't need insecure. Don't need multi-arch. Okay. Task cell standard, and I believe it's called SSH-server, yeah. Any other packages? I mean, we can just go ahead and do, oops, tmux git. Again, just things I like to have on every machine. Upgrade, yeah, go ahead and do a full upgrade. Let's make sure we get that new kernel and everything right out of the box. Don't care about popcon. Sure, just in case. Dev. I mean, we'll only change this stuff if it actually becomes a problem. We don't need a password on grub. We don't need no USB. Well, that would be kind of interesting, but...
USB? Do we not need USB?
I don't know. We'll leave it on. It doesn't hurt anything. We could eject the non-existent CD. Oh no, these have CD drives, so it's always fun to watch a bunch of those eject, but again, we don't need it. It's always fun to just, like, in parallel, send out the eject command to a whole cluster and watch them all pop. Okay, halt, power off, no. I think the default is just going to reboot, yeah? Okay. I think that is it for us. So let's... And yeah, let's go ahead and let's slip this into that... into that initRD. Yeah, gzip. So I'm just trying to remember how to unpack one of these, which I'm pretty sure is that. Oh, I see. You can just append it without unpacking completely. Well, we're already here. So ISO files install 386. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to be called ISO files on a Pixie boot. Oh, hello. Precede aliases. Precede/file. Oh, this is if we want to pass it on the command line, right? I think that's what we can do here. Hang on. I wonder if I just put this in the root of the initRD. Where did I put it? And it's called precede.cfg. Right, so just drop that in the root of the initRD, and then I never do this, so I never remember the command. Okay, that's the unpack. cpio oc gzip. Maybe? Yeah, all right. Okay, that looks right. That looks... hang on. That looks way bigger than the original one there. Is it because I didn't do gzip-9? Wow, I'm surprised the gzip compression works that well for RAM disk, but all right. Okay, so we've got our new initRD. It's got the precede file in it. I think we're ready to test this again. So let's see what happens. All right, well, so this is probably not going to work till the Bastion comes back up. But because we set up everything with IP tables and whatever to come up automatically, this should just wait until the DHCP server comes up. I mean, it'll time out, but we can have it retry. Hey, there it goes. So TFTP is loading the RAM disk. Scroll lock. Yeah, that's a hard panic there. Okay, so maybe I packed the initRD wrong. It's possible. Let's do it the way they said in the precede guide, I guess. So the cpio command will take the file name on standard input and then add that to the root of the initRD for us. So let's try that. Okay, I want to make sure there's no, yeah, okay. Premature end of file. What? Type. Okay, I think it's because the file was already in that one. So let's compress it again. So yeah, it's doing a Debian install completely hands off. How cool is that?
Seriously rad. That's what it is.
So,
So what's the premise for this? Once it loads this off the Bastion server,
Yeah.
like the other four would
so
do that.
the cool
if
thing
it's
is, yeah, we can just turn all these on and they should all do the same thing.
Yeah. And once it's loaded, it doesn't try to reload the OS, right?
Right. So, in theory, the BIOS on these should all be configured to PXE boot if all other methods fail.
Got it.
So you would say, you know, as long as you can boot from disk, do that. But if you can't boot from disk, then it should fall back to PXE.
Okay.
So we just need to double check the BIOS settings on all of these. But if they're all working the way this one was, then we should be good to go.
I'm pretty sure they should be all. Well, did you make any changes to?
No, I didn't touch the BIOS config on this one.
Yeah, because I set them all up to do that per our conversation like months ago.
Yeah.
And then this one, well,
So-
you remember the BIOS on this one, and it was funky,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just never got back
Yeah.
around to fixing all that.
So I mean, this is the way to do it if you're gonna like bother with BIOS settings.
Mm-hmm.
The way to do it if you don't want to bother with BIOS settings is pretty much every Dell box or every most servers these days, the default settings should be PXE boot.
Yeah.
If they're not, you need to talk to the person you're buying your servers from because they should be.
Yeah.
And what you would do is basically set up the DHCP server to not send those PXE options after the first boot. And that can get kind of complicated depending on your DHCP server, but yeah.
Like switch between them.
Yeah, see, they're all running. How cool is that? We didn't even have to look at them. So, and this is the benefit of like setting up PXE booting and getting a netboot going is like I just press the power button and it just happens.
Yeah. Which also makes it dramatically easier to add a node.
Exactly. Yep.
And boom.
So now, if we were not running a database on this, I would not have even done this. I would have just given the kernel an NFS root and had it mount that read-only and just be completely diskless.
Oh, yeah.
But because we're running a database, like you can kind of expect the disk is going to be there, and if it's not, you don't really want to boot it.
Well, and you kind of want to have that.
Yeah, like you don't want to have a dependency on the network to boot the machine.
Right.
And NFS root does that, which is not ideal unless you've got like a dedicated storage network. And even then, it's not a great idea.
Not that my machines are going to be the most massive.
No, but I mean,
awesome things ever.
having the kernel and some basic OS and everything local just like makes the whole thing a little bit more reliable, even though you now have some amount of state local to your cluster. But it's a trade-off. So I know like years ago, Linden Labs, the guys that run Second Life, their entire cluster was diskless. They basically each node of their grid ran just PXE booted, and every time it booted up, it just booted whatever the latest kernel on the PXE server was.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool way to run a distributed system, but it also like only really works if you don't have a lot of state, or if you've got like a big database cluster somewhere that keeps all your state.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, the minute you mentioned state, it kind of invalidates.
Yeah, state is the hard problem. Like doing stateless things is fun and it's easy and trivial.
where do you put the state and how do you manage that? That's always the hard part.
Yep.
How
are they doing?
I don't know, which machine are we
Cooking them
on?
all. I clicked on the first one, but there's the
Okay, so
multitude of them.
So yeah, we could have added a thing at the end of the pre-seed there to have it like, ping a web server or an app or something to tell us it's done installing, but I didn't. So how do we want to do the configs on these?
That's a good question.
I think probably the easiest thing is going to be Ansible.
Do you know Ansible pretty well? I don't know Ansible at all, honestly.
I haven't played with it in several years, but I mean, I remember the gist of it.
Okay, well.
It's just YAML, right? How hard could it be?
Famous last words. What's Ansible written in, actually?
Python, apparently. What? You no problem with Python?
I don't like Python for CLIs.
You're wrong.
Especially for systems. Yeah, except you can't port this shit. But anyway, and you have to load multiple. Anyway, Python's fine. I mean, Ansible's fine. Python's fine and Ansible's fine. I actually like writing code in Python, but there's other things that are just better for CLIs. Whatever.
The chat's siding with me on this one, right?
No! Nobody took any sides. They did point out that Ansible is Python. Yeah, it does have space-based indentation, but
I like spaces.
I like spaces too. That was a positive argument for not
I
an anti.
I really hated it for the first 3 weeks, but ever since then I've been okay with it.
Oh really?
Yeah,
The
first
only
3
thing.
weeks I was writing Python, I absolutely hated the spaces thing.
Yeah, no, I actually like writing in Python, and I like doing like data sciencey stuff in it or whatever. My only crux is I got spoiled by Go CLIs because I can write an executable, put it on the machine, I'm done. But anything in Python or whatever, you have to have all the stuff installed.
This is the thing with Ansible is you don't install it on the target machines. It just does everything as commands over SSH. I think.
Does it do that?
Pretty sure. Oh, our pre-seed didn't work right.
Uh-oh. But, oh, yeah.
We need to tell it which device to put the MBR on. Okay. So there was an option for that. Remember I said we might need to change those?
Yep.
Did I just need to uncomment this? Install to first device default? I think that's all we need to do. Okay, so let's actually. So this is the point at which I would recommend having a local Debian mirror set up. It just makes these installs go a bit faster when all the files are local and you can download them easily. But I don't really feel like setting that up right now. So we're just going to reboot this machine. Yeah, so we're just going to pretend that came from the pre-seed this time.
So you're just rebooting each one. I bet if we reboot that one machine that thinks it doesn't have a drive, it'll work.
Yeah, that's what I did. Alright, let's go back to messing with this Ansible config. So do you want to call this a group? I guess we'll call it Cassandra. Sure.
Yeah, that should work.
And we're going to need to know the IPs of all of these. So there's a few ways to do that.
Yeah, that's a good question, right? Because they're all DHCP'd.
Right, so there's all of our leases, which is a pretty good starting point. One of these is going to be my laptop, and the rest of them is. This will give us all your MAC addresses, and then we can hard code those into the DHCP config. Probably the simplest thing to do for right now.
What's that, to set them
Just hard
static
code
to
them.
the...
Well, we'll hard code them in the DHCP server configuration, so the DHCP server will always give that MAC address the same IP. That's the easiest thing to do. We could, ooh.
What happened?
I mean, we could make this complicated, but kind of fun.
What's that?
We can have the DHCP server add records to DNS dynamically and then use those in the Ansible config.
Server dynamically.
So now you have a dependency on DNS for both sending out DHCP replies for discovering hosts, along with all the complications with caching validation. But it means you don't ever have to have a static config.
Which would be kind of ideal, right? Because then I could add nodes and remove them on a somewhat whimsical basis.
Removing, not so much, but adding, sure. Like basically once a node is in DNS, it'll be in there until a timeout, or if we don't set a timeout, indefinitely. So it'd be very easy to run out of addresses.
Right. How many? What was the?
We got 254-ish, 253-ish addresses here. We'll call it.
So.
I mean, we could, but I mean, it's a 10 dot, so I mean, we could have 4 million if you want.
Well, yeah, but then we just fill up with that. That's kind of a mess.
So that's one way to go. Another thing we could do is do IPv6 autoconf. So we give them all host names and have them advertise with Avahi, and then we use the Avahi names to address the individual hosts. And so
right.
we don't even care what the IP is. Like I said, simplest thing is probably just to hardcode them by MAC address in the DHCP config for now.
Okay, let's do that. That'll get us moving.
Right.
We can mess around with the other options later.
Right? Yeah. So here I'm just looking for all the ones that say Pixie client and then have a different MAC address. So like this is the same MAC address, same IP even. I'm guessing 32 here is my laptop. It's also got a different vendor prefix, so there's that too. So 34 is 88, so that's the same device has a different IP, so we're not going to do that again. It's 32, 37 is a Pixie client. All right. We'll go with that. And I mean, you could write a script to do this. It's just we're only dealing with 5 hosts here, so I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Oh, weird that it's got a different vendor prefix.
You know, we could actually just use these IPs in the Ansible config now, which is probably the way to go. Just double check. Okay. Awesome. Oh, tell you what, I'm gonna do one more thing here. I move these into our subnet declaration here just so that they get that next server and file name setting there. Gather. Command module Ansible-playbook. I think that's what we want. Yeah, YAML. So is there an example playbook here somewhere? Let's see. Playbooks. Just trick X. Well, we'll keep that around even though we're not using it for now. We need to push an SSH configuration to all of these, don't we? So let's... There's a module for it. Excellent. Boom. Done. Must install SSH pass. Okay, 2 of our hosts are unreachable. And the other 3? Also unreachable. Cool. So what happened? Let's go take a look.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, well, that's why it's unreachable, right?
Yeah. It's just not done yet.
Yeah. Are the others probably just doing the same?
Yeah,
Same shit?
This one's stupid like nothing.
So far. It tends to take them a minute to wake up.
I mean,
There it
the
goes.
hard drive light is doing stuff. So yeah, that
Oh,
just...
it rebooted. It's in a reboot.
Oh, okay. So our Pixie config, it is Pixie booting twice. So yeah, they're just infinitely reinstalling themselves, which is a pretty great place to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to change the BIOS settings is where we're at, which is not really ideal. In this random Ansible directory I pulled off the internet. I think it's 3.
Okay. That's cool.
I've never run 3. Oh, I have, but like only in a test environment.
Yeah. 4 is coming out real soon. Real soon. I mean, it's already, they're already messing with it and stuff.
This looks easy enough.
I like it when you say stuff like that.
I mean, so far it has
It's
been.
easy enough, and that's what I always worry about.
So inventory, is that... Inventory, okay, so that's the Ansible hosts. Should be implied, right? Okay, so we've got all Cassandra nodes, and we've got Cassandra nodes.
All Cassandra nodes.
I don't know what the difference between all and just plain Cassandra. And also it's installing Spark for some reason, and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't really either.
Or an Ops Center, which I think that's something you guys build. So.
What's up, C? That's weird. I don't know what that is either.
It's a typo is what it is.
I don't think. Oh, it says BSC.
Yeah.
Op Center. So I didn't think that worked against vanilla Cassandra.
I'm not.
Maybe it probably does. I lose track of what works with what sometimes.
Okay, so you have to define this inventory. I see. You see what's happening here?
You said it was through 3 they're doing?
Huh?
Or that we're doing? We're doing Cassandra 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is in the recipe, or whatever Ansible calls it.
I'll get there. Oh, that's cute. You get to set what day the repair runs.
Oh, for which node or whatever?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. It's funny, like, I don't know.
What?
In the back of my head, like, I've known things like that, but I never really think about it until this point. You know, like, you're actually setting something up. It's like, oh, yeah, you can do that.
Node IP for Cassandra. Is that just going to be any node? I suppose I should read what this random stuff I downloaded from the internet does. Oh, you can use the playbook without installing Spark. Okay.
Oh, do you see language passive? Round robin. Okay.
All right.
Just interesting things to note.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like it's actually installing the DataStax
Yeah.
version of it. Spark node IP.
Just gonna make node 1 be the thing.
Are you taking the Spark out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah. No, I don't need it for anything right now. That's one point of context.
Deployment environment.
Do we need
AWS
to
or
change?
Yucca? Great.
What was that?
Oh, it's like, are you running on AWS or Eucalyptus? And I'm like, neither.
Where'd you get that? Who said that?
This deployment environment, and I gotta figure out what it's using that shit for.
Oh, yeah. Do we need to change JVM heap settings?
Not yet.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, it's probably buried in one of these configs somewhere. Okay, so read ephemeral.sh. Init server or default false. Okay. I see. So that's just setting up disk configuration. That's going to be fine. I'll just set that to something else.
No.
Okay, so that's getting its private IP for those things. Oh, I see. It's already doing that. Never mind. Yeah, it already does it up here. Cool. Okay, so I don't think that matters all that much. Install version. Okay, so do you want Apache, DC, or DSE?
The DSE, preferably. Oh, interesting that it has that. Where was it? You got all the. What's Ansible call it? It's not playbooks, is it?
Yeah, it's a playbook.
It's
Yeah,
a playbook.
this one.
Oh, okay. So you just grabbed it.
Yep. It was the first one in Google and seems good to me.
Cool. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh, this is weird.
I know all the things will work if we use.
No, this is definitely not going to work the first try. Like, we're going to have to do some debugging, but that's okay.
Oh no, I meant like the
Oh,
the amenities,
I'm gonna
the
need-
added tooling.
I'm gonna
after the
need
fact.
gonna need creds if we want to do DSE then
Oh, for what? For
for the paying of things.
never
Apparently-
mind about that. Then. I don't. Just use standard Cassandra stuff.
DSE it is.
You put DC in
No,
DC.
I put D. Oh yeah, DC. That's what I meant.
Don't you want DSE?
No.
Oh.
Didn't you read the README that I skimmed?
I looked at the delayed version like 5 seconds
Right.
after you did.
Version of Cassandra install Apache, DataStax Community, or DataStax Enterprise. We want DataStax Community, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Seems kind of yeah. That's fine.
And this is also assuming Ubuntu, so this is definitely not going to work.
Maybe we should not use that one.
No, I like it.
Get a good challenge out of it.
Well, because the reason they're saying this is because they got this hard-coded trusty stuff in here, and I'd be willing to bet if I just changed. Well, I don't think we're actually going to need that because it's just like stuff that we don't need, probably. Probably. We'll find out.
Probably, yeah.
Like I said, we'll find out when it breaks. Oh, again, we definitely read the Oracle license, right?
I'm not commenting. I don't know if the Oracle version of Java is actually even needed for any of this stuff.
Maybe
I didn't
not,
think
but
it was.
did that actually work?
No way.
Oh no, because I didn't give it the. Wait. Yeah. I hear hard drives chugging. Something's happening.
Yeah, I mean they're
No.
when I pop over to them, they're loading, going to town, preparing get text and magic something and configure the app, whatever. So yeah, they're definitely cooking along.
Yeah. No. There's still room to install. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, you know where? Yeah. Okay.
You have a hunch. There's a thing happening. So what did you just figure out?
It was trying to connect on using names, not IPs.
Ah.
So it's a good thing to differentiate.
And and okay, public key and password fits. Aha. Sweet.
You got it?
Yeah, 3 of them should have SSH keys now. So let's
Huh, cool.
yeah, sweet. That works with an SSH key. So the other 2 will still be coming up. $33 and $37, which, I mean, I don't actually know which AVM course they're going to be on, but. So, just out of curiosity, what happens if I run this Cassandra playbook now?
What the hell?
Huh?
This keyboard like changes my tab. Hot damn, that is cool. Anyway, excuse me while I get excited about weird hardware behavior.
Proxy. Oh, right. Sudo password is required. Well, that sucks. Um, I think it's installing Cassandra.
It's installing?
Mhm.
Oh, is it?
Get EC2 facts. Yeah, that's not
Oh,
gonna work.
it got a fatal, but
Well, yeah, but that's gonna happen because there's still 2 nodes that are down.
oh yeah.
I was just seeing if it'll work on the 3 that are up, because that's
Yeah.
enough for a quorum.
That indeed.
I can count.
Yeah.
Don't know about this get EC2 facts though. I don't think that's gonna work.
That's a offshoot of weirdness.
Something happened. Oh, this is the apt key thing, I think. Yeah, GPG error. No pub key. Look at that, it generated a seeds list and everything. That's pretty cool. Private host name greater than not defined.
Did you ever watch Death Clock when it was on?
No?
What a wonderfully morbid metal show.
You're keeping an eye on that one that's installing, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it too.
Just make sure it's not in a boot loop.
It's at, well, it's at 46%. That's at 48%. Unpacking the base system.
You're a base system.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, just let me know when it reboots.
Alright.
Because I have a few. But we also, I don't think we need Oracle Java.
Yeah, we definitely don't need Oracle Java. I'm mostly confident of that. Skipping, okay, but skipping comment.
It just means it's already done that.
Uh,
I found software properties. I don't know what it is, so I'm getting rid of it.
sounds good to me.
Also, like, why do you need to have set of tools if it's done? I think I'm doing pretty good for not remembering how to use Ansible.
I know, right? No, I think this is, you're doing fantastically well.
Okay, what failed now? Version 3.0.17 for Cassandra was not found.
Was that the last one that was waiting to load?
Yeah, there were
That
two.
one is loaded
Yeah,
now?
there were two.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there is no Cassandra in the main dist. So, okay. How about we use the Apache Cassandra?
What was it saying? I can't find.
Can't find the apt source, and I'm just like, I can't. It doesn't show up in the first couple of results on Google, so sorry guys. Like, you want to give me a Windows installer? Here we go. Deb using apt-get. It's like, why doesn't this page show up at the top of the Google results? Yeah, this is what I want. Just double check that this is actually. Mouse reporting is the worst feature.
Mouse what?
Mouse reporting. Don't worry about it.
I'm just gonna ignore it anytime. Go ahead.
3.9 looks like latest here.
That sounds right-ish.
Hmm.
Because they are about to drop 4.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's...
DDC 3.9.
Um, wait, what? Debian DSX account community. Oh. Why did they change that? I wonder. Or is it the same thing? No. What's the difference between DDC and community?
DataStax is a DataStax supported distro of it. The community is just the purely community one.
Which should I use?
Use the DDS one.
DDC?
DDC one, I mean.
Mhm.
And some of that seems kind of a little confusing because I know DDCs are, yeah, it's going to be some new stuff coming out in that regard. But anyway, for now, that should be fine.
I'm supposed to set repo URL DataStax CE. I don't know if this is going to work. Also, this is hilarious.
What's up?
Table snap. You know I wrote table snap.
Oh.
I'm just curious now. Yep, see, there's my GitHub repo. Wow, I didn't realize they were using my upstream. I thought they forked it.
Oh.
I mean, I guess
Look
this
at
is
there.
this is just some random Ansible thing, so who
Yeah.
knows? But I thought DataStax had a fork.
We might have to check. I don't know.
Alright, let's see what this does, I guess. Those two are still down, huh?
They're still being flaky.
Permission denied on one, which means it's still in the installer. The other one's refused.
One is still definitely installed.
Yeah, one of them should be, but the other I thought was done. Well, whatever. We'll fix them later. I'm not too worried about it.
Like you said, you got 3, enough for
Yeah,
4.
3 is enough for a ring. Oh, module failure. Does not have a release file. Do I need to... What's going on here? I'm sure this is the wrong way to do this, but I don't care.
Sometimes you just need to do it the wrong way. Get it knocked out.
I see. Oh, something happened. Shared connection.
And install is at, it's up to 80% now. It just bumped up a bunch.
But I changed to. Well, that's annoying. It doesn't know how to change the content of the file, so I have to ensure absent, run it, and then ensure present again. Which, I mean, there might be a way to make this work differently, but this seems easy.
Gotcha.
Again, if I knew more about Ansible.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not. It's your cluster, not mine, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
Oh, don't know that. Is it the BIOS?
It rebooted.
See if it boots. Wait, just. Okay, no, it's doing the right thing now. We're good.
Huh. Yeah, it is. I asked no booting.
Well, there's.
Oh, it's at the login.
Yeah, that's good. That's where we want it to be.
Oh yeah, because it's done.
All right, tell you what. How do I use Ansible to just run a command? No. Dash A. Oops. Oh, okay. Better. So now that's just permission denied, which is a little weird. Oh, I know why that's not working. Because I need to run the SSH pass thing. we go. 2 more nodes. Repository, but that's not the repository. I think I'm about ready to call it quitting time.
Yeah, done for the day.
Yeah.
You got 5 greens.
Yeah, I know.
So where does that put us? What is that?
Well, the apt source is not working for some reason.
The app source?
Yeah, it says there's no release file, which I'm pretty sure there is. Unless I got something very wrong.
So yeah, so that puts us in a situation where the machines are loaded, they're booting, we have DHCP server, traffic goes through the Bastion out to the internet. It can't find the Cassandra app source to load. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So data stacks DDC, and then I see what I did wrong. Yeah. So it's not. The dist is 3.9, not main, right? Is that, or is it? No, it's main. Okay. That's what I did wrong.
Oh, yeah. So,
And I'm going to let's just wipe out all the existing sources. Good. Now do that.
so technically, if that works, then
Then this should.
That'll
Well,
load.
I mean, this will get us to whatever the next breaking thing is.
right, which will theoretically load Cassandra onto the systems, or at least get the package,
Yep.
Cassandra
And it
package.
should set up the seeds with the listed nodes and everything. Like, I mean, in theory, this should bring up the cluster, but we'll see what fails next because everything always fails. Just to get that node 1 in there. Where is that coming from? I don't, oh, there it is.
Changed?
Yeah, those were just the 2 new ones.
Oh, okay.
Right, so 3.9. See, now this is still the old app source. Like, I don't understand. It's, um,
Pass sudo pass.
did I do that wrong? What's going on here?
Okay, so what's going on here?
That's it. That's not. Repository is not required. It's not signed.
Wait, why is that still there? Okay, I'm just clearly stabbing in the dark now.
Think you can? You want to wrap it and maybe
Yeah,
stab at it next week?
yeah, maybe.